saying is that we've been having a very polite conversation about this, and it's always a conversation that really evades the issue. At the end of the day, this issue, maternal mortality, is one of the reasons why we have to say Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Because what we are asking, and I think you've heard it from Miss Ayana, who told her story, what Black women are asking for is that the same backflips and the same hurdles you would jump to save the lives of white women in childbirth, we are asking you to do the same for us. And that's really what the issue boils down to. We don't believe that doctors wake up in the morning and say, hey, any Black woman who is in childbirth, I will just let her die. That's not the case. But the deal is that we want doctors to jump through the same hoops and see our lives as valuable as you would see a white woman's life who is giving birth. Because we all know in this society, you let something happen to a white woman and it is hell to pay. And we want you to have that same feeling. We want you to take that same action when it comes to providing medical care for Black women. And so that's really what's at the root of this issue. The other thing is that Georgia is moving in the wrong direction. There are many things that contribute to maternal mortality. One of them is the fact that healthy mothers, healthy women have healthy babies. So if you are a person who does not have health coverage and you are just walking around not getting your checks, of which, let me just let you know, Black folks are disproportionately represented in the amount of people who are not covered with health insurance in this country. So if you're walking around and you all of a sudden get pregnant, it's going to be really difficult for you to get your body in the place where it needs to be in order to have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy delivery. So the issue of not expanding Medicaid in Georgia just on a regular level, not even talking about expanding it for new moms, but just leaving so many people uninsured, which Georgia has continued to do year after year because of political reasons, is a contributor to women dying in childbirth. And again, let me reinforce, Black people are disproportionately represented in the number of people that are not covered in this country. So think about that when it's time to vote. The other thing is racial stress, as Representative Thomas spoke about. That's another major contributing factor. It's interesting when you look at who dies in childbirth and you can see that a Black woman with a college degree is still more likely to die in childbirth than a white woman with a high school diploma. And so we know that generally people, sometimes it's not, and that shows you it's not even about economics. There are other factors that are contributing to this. And then finally, last year we saw Georgia pass an abortion ban. And a lot of people think that these things are not connected. Let me tell you, they are. Last year I spoke against that bill and I refused to leave the well.
Yes.
Maternal mortality was one of the reasons that I went so hard on that issue, because when you restrict women's reproductive freedom and you force them to carry pregnancies that they do not want to carry, all of that stress adds to a terrible outcome for women. And so what history has taught us is that white women will get the abortions that they need. They will get the access to birth control that they need. It's not the case for Black women. And so Georgia was already in a situation where it was at the top for maternal mortality in the country. And so adding more restrictions like funding fake clinics, which waste women's time when they know that they want to get an abortion or they want birth control, the CPC funding that we do, adding restrictions where you're essentially outlawing abortion, all of these things are going to make the situation worse. And so we have to understand that all of these things are connected, and at the end of the day, we have to make it so the lives of Black women and Black men, but in this situation we're talking about childbirth, we have to make it so that our lives are valued just as much as anybody else who is trying to have a baby, trying to deliver a pregnancy and trying to be safe and healthy after delivery.